All right, string students, I know you're excited to get started, so here we go. By now, you should have your violin case or your cello case, and you may have already opened it up on your own, but I want to go through the things that we would do in our very first lesson together. So when you're opening your instrument up, whether it's the violin or cello, please do not sit with it on your lap and try and open the case up that way. Things could fall out, could break, and we don't want that to happen to you. I've seen that happen to some students in the past. You want to sit on the floor with the case in front of you, or like I did, I found a flat surface to put my instrument case on. Some of your violin cases and cello cases will have latches, and some of them will have zippers. This one has a zipper that I've already undone for us, and it lifts up like this, and your instrument is safely inside. Cello players, you will perhaps have a cello case that looks very similar to this. This one also has a zipper, and I've often said to students, it's sort of like taking off your winter jacket. So I remove my jacket, I hold it safely, and we could lay that down, and then we have our cello, okay? Now, let's go over some of the parts. I'm going to talk about the parts on the violin and talk about the things in your case. It's this very similar between the cello and the violin. So telling you about the violin will work for both instruments. So you will notice one of the things in your case, you'll see this long part here. This is called the bow. And there are different parts of the bow. We will talk about and get to them in more depth at another lesson, but this is your bow. We won't use this for the first month or couple months of playing. There's some other things we have to do on the violin itself before we're ready for the bow. You will notice that there is some tape, some markings on there. I will do that for everyone. I will put tape on the bow for you. That's going to help you with something that we'll do later on. And so, yeah, it's called the bow, and these are the bow hairs. And we'll label the other parts in the future. Your case will include rosin. That's what this stuff is here, okay? Some of yours will have a dark color rosin, some have a light colored rosin, and we use the rosin on the bow, okay? We will go through a whole explanation on how to do that at a future video as well. Now we come to our instrument. So we have our strings. Those are the violin strings. And something I want to point out right away, these 4 black knobs, we actually call those pegs, they're called the tuning pegs. And you as the student, please never ever touch these, okay? I will tune your instrument in class every time I see you. And for the students who study remotely, I will talk to your parents, and we will come up with some plan that I can meet and get your instruments tuned for you. When you first get them from the store, when you order them, they might sound like this. Doesn't sound very good. It's not in tune, okay? I will use these tuning pegs to tune it for you. If you tune them yourself and move them, a string could break, and then we have to call the store, we have to order you a new one, and that might cost extra money. So we don't want to ever touch those. Now, at the bottom of the violin, close to the bottom, there are 4 circles there. Mine are gold in color, yours might be black. These are called the fine tuners. Again, I'm the only one who can touch these, okay? Please do not touch those. They might make your strings break on you. Here's another important one. This part right here that holds up the strings, okay, that is called the bridge. And the bridge keeps the strings above the violin. We'll talk about this part in a moment. And sometimes, if you touch these tuning pegs, the bridge could fall off. Okay, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm just letting you know these are the things that may happen. If the bridge falls off and is not broken, I can fix that, no problem. So don't worry about that. Sometimes the bridge can come off. But the things that you need to watch out, I'm going to repeat. Tuning pegs, never touch. Fine tuners, never touch. Bridge, sometimes they fall off and I can fix those, all right? This long part, this black area, that's where I'm going to eventually, when we learn, I'm going to place my fingers. This is called the fingerboard, okay? This piece here is our chin rest. When we learn how to play like this, I'll put my chin on it. And this part up here they call the scroll, this fancy part, the scroll. And these holes are called the F holes. All right. That is the basic parts of the violin. Now, a moment ago I mentioned when you get it out, it's out of tune. What does that mean exactly? Well, that means it doesn't sound right. Each of these strings should be tuned to a very specific note. G, D, A, and E. And currently, this violin isn't tuned at all. When I get your violin, I will tune the strings, I'll tighten them and loosen them, and we'll make it sound like my violin. And make it sound very nice for you. You may have noticed when I held up the violin to you, you saw these stickers across there, these pieces of tape. I will add that to everyone's violin so that you'll know where to put your fingers. All right, so if your violin's out of tune, that is perfectly fine for right now. I know you're excited to start playing it. One of the first things I would like you to do is we hold the instrument at the very beginning of 3rd grade in what I call a mini guitar. Okay, I put it across my belly, and we're going to take our left hand and just hold the violin like that. We're going to take our right thumb and just practice plucking each string. Plucking means to pull on it. So one of the very first activities we'll do in class is to pluck each string 4 times like this. That's our very first assignment. We want to eventually get to the point where we can do it without looking. Oops, I peeked. Maybe come backwards. Okay. It's going to take some coordination and some time, but we want to be able to move between that. So that's the very first thing I'd practice. In a little while, like a couple weeks or so, as I add the tapes, then we'll start playing some notes. And if I add my fingers on here, we can get different notes. Okay, so we're a little bit off from doing that, a little bit of ways away from doing that. But so your very first thing is to just try and pluck, all right? So that is our very first lesson, talking about some of the parts of the instrument, talking about the parts of the instrument that we should not touch, our tuning pegs, the fine tuners, and don't worry about the bridge. And then I will add stickers to everything for you so that you know how to where to put your fingers as we move forward. Okay? So this is just our first introduction video. There will be many more to follow with different songs that we will play. All right, guys? I'll be seeing you in lessons.